nice subterranean lake. Fancy a swim, Van Helsing?
In this secret laboratory, one word, Katarina. Mega sharks.
Hey everybody, Tom Marks with PC Gamer here to talk about The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. So, this is the third part in the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing series, but it's the first I was actually able to play, and it hasn't come out yet, and it's a pretty fun game. It's an action RPG similar to Diablo 3 for anybody who's a fan of that sort of game. You know, clearing out large amounts of enemies and monsters and that sort of thing all at once, using a lot of AoE spells, and it is online, so you can play it with up to 4 people as well. It's pretty fun, but I think the gameplay is actually a little tricky. It's hard to click on individual people, like their outlines will move a lot, so if you're trying to target like one person really specifically, it can be tricky if they're grouping up and, you know, you're trying to clear out the little guy so that you can wait to kill the big guy, and then, or vice versa, and, you know, the big groups of people will just block you from doing that, and it got kind of frustrating when I was playing it. There are 6 classes. I was only able to play 2 of them, a kind of wizardy class, you know, spells and that sort of thing, and then a more like paladin-ish, tanky, damage-dealing class. And they played very differently. I don't know about the other 4 classes, you know, they might be a little bit of overlap, but they seemed very unique. This is the most classes, I believe, that's been in the series so far, and they're all very new and unique and cool. There's one guy that's in basically like a mech suit, which is pretty cool. But all of the ones I played had this similar problem of it was, unless you were using AoE, and in the paladin kind of guy's case, it was even a little difficult to use his right-click spell, because if you right-clicked a person specifically, he would kind of shamble over to them even if there were guys in front of him. The thing that did really impress me about Van Helsing 3 was the just attention to detail. The writing is really, really good, and there's a lot of kind of funny moments for humor in there.
Excruciating caress. It sounds effective. Do it.
Look, it's a blackboard. Now I'm going to gently caress it. Wait for it, scratching it with my nails.
Ah, you monster! I'll talk.
And the levels are just really, really gorgeous and really well detailed. All the character models are really beautiful. There was this cinematic in the opening of the version I played that was going across a map with like cards and like this map of the city, and it was just really lush. It felt very cool, and the world they built feels very cool. In one part of the demo I went into this world called the Ink, and it was this kind of like almost Lovecraftian mixed with Brothers Grimm. I mean, obviously a huge Brothers Grimm influence in it. I ran into the old witch and the Hansel and Gretel story in the demo I played as well. And so it's this interesting kind of high fantasy meets steampunk meets Lovecraft world that's kind of a very unique flavor to it, and they did a really, really good job of making it feel alive and vibrant. And I think that's really, really what impressed me the most about the game, was just their attention to detail and how lush and alive the world felt. Now, that was hurt a little bit by partly the voice acting, which is, I mean, the game definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, which is great, and I think a really smart thing that they did, but also, like, the voice acting feels a little bit campy in parts. It feels a little bit, like, forced out and odd.
Look, we got eaten alive by a tree. And now we can't leave until our remains are buried at this altar.
And let me guess, you want me to play fetch bones?
Yes, being dead and stuck here for eternity with this mutton is stressing.
That didn't by any means detract from the experience, because it's supposed to be joking. You can kind of get into the vibe of that, but it's just something that might bug some people. Once again, my main complaint with it was really just when I was playing as the melee class and I was trying to click individual guys, their bodies would be moving, their outlines would be moving, and it was very hard to target specific enemies. But besides that, if you're really interested if you're a fan of the series, it picks up right where the last one left off, and if you're interested in that kind of fantasy world and another good action RPG, I'd recommend taking a look at it and seeing what you can find out about The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you next time.